Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, Ricky Bo. And speaking of good luck to the Philadelphia Phillies now the rest of the way after their 9-19 start. We just heard from Dave Dombrowski, the president of baseball operations. If we were playing a drinking game with how many times he used the word club, we'd be on the floor already.
I'd be hammered.
We would be on the floor. And he dropped a few. We got a good clubs on us.
Yeah.
Better club than we're playing.
I'm not buying that part right
now. Well, I saw you get frustrated. The first question he was asked, and it was a good question, was, Dave, do you put the blame on the players or Rob Thomson? And his response was, we're not playing the blame game. But then why'd you fire Rob Thomson?
Exactly. Well, that was the first thing that popped into my mind. You obviously blame somebody because you fired somebody. So, yes, you did play the blame game. It's that simple, and that's not the way to start that off. All he had to come out and say is, we've been really underachieving. We had to make some kind of a move. Rob Thomson is no longer with the team. That's it. That's all he had to say. Instead, he says, no, we don't play the blame game. Well, guess what, Dave? You just lied because you did.
Yeah, you are putting the blame on Rob, but he's right. The players deserve most of the blame, not Rob Thomson, but he didn't say that. A couple other things. He did admit that they tried to hire Alex Cora. Alex Cora was fired by the Boston Red Sox on Saturday, and Dave said he called him, meaning Alex called Dave on Saturday night because he looks at him as a mentor. And Dave Dombrowski told Alex Cora, if you want the job, we will make a change. Alex Cora eventually turned him down, citing family reasons. And then they pivoted, and they went to Don Mattingly. And we've been saying for a couple of weeks now that Don Mattingly said over the summer he doesn't have the energy to manage anymore. And they asked Dave Dombrowski about that, and he said, look, he has plenty of energy to do it.
I saw him with his 11-year-old kid, yeah.
And that we've only asked him to do it for this season remaining.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like they're going to give Don Mattingly an extension by any stretch of the imagination. But I don't remember when they went in with Topper, but I think it was the same way. Yeah. They didn't expect Topper to be here for a long period of time. He ends up being here for 4 years. I mean, but it really bothers me that they did play a blame game. And it's kind of funny. He says he says it's not the roster setup because those guys have hit in the 4-hole before. Come on, man. Just be honest. Say you don't have the right pieces in place.
Well, listen, I wanted to see Dombrowski take some responsibility, but as he was answering that question, it did flash into my mind, what do you want him to say at this point? So you still got a lot of season left. Mm-hmm. He was asked the question, do you have regrets about the construction of the roster? And they cite to the fact that he indicated you don't have a cleanup hitter. And he said, I don't have any regrets. I think they'll be better. We have a good club. We don't have any gaping holes. And then he said, at the end of the season, if things don't improve, I'll have a lot of regrets. I actually think that's the right answer. You don't want to give up on these guys now. You can't do anything. You don't want to say, "Oh no, we don't have the right players."
You have to look at it two different ways. The players are listening too. Remember that. We're listening as media. You out there, you're listening as fans. But the players are listening to this. The players want to know what Dave has to say. The players want to hear what the situation was, why it happened. Although we didn't really get a why it happened because all we got is it's a blame. It's that we're not blaming anybody.
Yeah,
that was the answer to really what happened. Well, we're not blaming anybody. We don't do that here. Yeah, you did. You did because somebody took the fall for everybody, and that was Rob Thomson. Rob Thomson took the fall for every single player on that team.
Yeah, the one thing, you're spot on with that. And the one thing that did bother me with Dombrowski is he was asked, did you consider any other coaching changes? And clearly what we're talking about is Kevin Long or Caleb Cotham, your hitting coach and your pitching coach. And I don't like that Dombrowski almost put it on Mattingly. Well, I asked Don if he wanted to make any other changes, and Don said no, he liked the staff that we had. So here we go again now. Dombrowski, it wasn't me. I didn't make the decision to keep Kevin Long and Caleb Cotham. I just put it on Don Mattingly. Well, you better believe if you would have hired Alex Cora, you would have made sweeping changes.
Made complete and utter changes. I don't know, in this time period, could you have changed everybody? Or would it just be the team going up there with Mattingly tonight?
Yeah, because it would have been Don would have had to bring his own staff in, which he probably doesn't have right now.
Well, right. And you know how hard that would have been?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the conversation could have gone something to what he said in the fact that he said, no, just keep the staff as it is. Right now, I like these guys. That's fine liking these guys. But what you have to do as a manager is you have to be just that. If you see something you don't like, whether it be in a day, a week, a month, that's got to be that issue has to be taken care of. Will Don Mattingly be doing that? I don't know. When you come in and basically you get 3/4 of a year to manage a team, are you going to be willing to take those chances or those shots? You ever think about that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, I mean, but Mattingly doesn't have anything to lose. He didn't even really want this job. He said that as much as when he came here. So here it is. He's got a shot to manage for the rest of the way. My favorite thing, though, that Dombrowski said, and there wasn't many things he said that I liked, they asked him about any roster moves. Now, He said, we're making a small move. We're bringing back Jonathan Bolin. He's coming off the IL. But he did say, we've had a lot of trade discussions already, more than we've had this early in previous years because a lot of teams struggling. That got me a little excited because maybe you can shake up. You can't shake it all up, but maybe you can make a trade right now.
What, Alec Boehm?
Maybe it's Alec Boehm. Maybe it's somebody else that you're not even expecting.
Maybe they've realized that Alec Boehm isn't the end-all, be-all answer, and you're not going to get a ton back from him. Maybe they probably thought, hindsight, we probably should have taken the offer X times. I mean, they probably had a bunch of offers for him, and they thought it was too low, and you know what? Probably wasn't. But I would say this much. There are certain guys on this team that could probably use a change of scenery right now because that has to be the next step.
Well, listen.
Who are you going to trade, though?
I don't know, and that's the big question. But when you look at other teams that were supposed to be good, right? The Red Sox were one of them. The Blue Jays, who were in the World Series last year, they're close to the basement of the AL East. So you have other teams who are struggling. I don't think they'll make a trade with the Mets, but the Mets are underperforming. Are there teams that would be willing to maybe trade one of their underperforming players for one of yours? And maybe change of scenery would help for that player that comes here.
Basically, it comes back down to reality again. If you want to get something, and if you're talking about selling on the high end of where players are, who would be your number one guy?
Right now? Brandon Marsh.
Yeah.
But I don't think I want to trade him.
That's I wrote down 3 names: Boehm, Stott, and Marsh. But who's at the top of their game out of the 3 of them?
Marsh
would be Brandon Marsh, and he'd be able to get you the best haul back. I don't even know if that's a huge haul.
No, it'll be interesting what happens.
He's a starting outfielder.
But here we are now, and a lot of people are going to say they predicted this, but I could never have imagined that only 28 games into this season, coming off of a 96-win season, that Rob Thomson would already be out as manager, but that's where we are with this team sitting in the bottom of the league, not only with the standings, but pretty much every statistical category, hitting, pitching, fielding, they're in the bottom of the major leagues. So I want to hear from people today, Ricky. I know you want to hear some from Phillies fans. Was this the right decision? Firing Rob Thomson, was that the right decision? And do you think this is going to change things the rest of the way? 3 ways to get involved with the show. It's the same number for all 3. Send your texts and your voice memos to the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975. Pick up the phone and call. Same number, 610-632-0975. Do you agree with this decision to move on from Rob Thomson? We will hear from Don Mattingly, interim manager. Originally, it was 3:45. We're hearing it might be closer to 4 o'clock, but we will bring that to you as soon as Don Mattingly gets in front of the microphone, so you're not going to want to miss it. Keep it here, Unfiltered. Big reaction day to the news of Rob Thomson out as Phillies manager. 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia. It's been a crazy few days for Philadelphia sports fans. You've watched the Flyers lose 2 in a row. It's now a 3-2 series with the Penguins. The Sixers are on the brink of elimination tonight, which could be the last time we see Joel Embiid in a Sixers uniform, depending on what happens this offseason. And now the 9-19 Phillies have a new manager in Don Mattingly, interim manager. Make sure we say that, interim. But Rob Thomson is out, and he goes out with the best winning percentage in franchise history and making the postseason all 4
What
years.
a horrible week.
It's been a bad week.
It's been a really bad week. I mean, anything that can go wrong, will go wrong, has gone wrong. Hopefully it ended today.
Yeah, let's hope this was it.
Boom. Donnie Baseball's in as manager. Boom. Sixers win tonight. Boom. Flyers win tomorrow. Boom. We beat the hell out of the Hurricanes.
And I believe it'll end tomorrow because I think the Sixers lose tonight, so the agony will continue.
So how about the Phillies tonight? They got San Francisco. The Phillies will win tonight.
I believe you on that. And as soon as we get Don Mattingly's first lineup as manager, we'll bring it because I'm assuming he's going to make some drastic changes. No.
Well,
we're going to hear from Mattingly shortly.
You're calling for drastic changes. I wouldn't
be surprised to see Schwarber leading off tonight.
Oh, okay. I see.
Right, going back to that.
I don't know if that's drastic. That's just something that they've done before. But, yeah, I could see some minor things. You know what you do? How about wake up Trey Turner and put him in 9?
Maybe. So when we get the lineup, we'll bring it to you. I think I'm seeing some rumblings that
I think it's out.
Might be out. So we'll get to that coming up. But I still want to react to Dave Dombrowski. He just met with the media. Pretty long press conference.
It is out.
Yeah, so we'll get to it. But with Dombrowski's comments that he doesn't have any regrets about the construction of the roster and that he doesn't believe that this team is struggling due to age. Do you believe that? Because that's the big question here. Is this 2012 and we're seeing the end of the window? It's closing?
Really? I'm going to prove this to you real quick. Kyle Schwarber, 9 home runs already. He's on pace for 52. Bryce Harper's hitting 260. He has 6 home runs, 18 RBIs right now. I would say that would be the guys you're talking about in the lineup. And JT's not in the lineup right now. Where is the real problem in the lineup? I'll tell you where the real problem is. How about Bryson Stott hitting 221 with no power whatsoever, no home runs? Alec Boehm, 1 home run. He is 14 for 98, Bill. 14 for 98. That's a smooth 143.
Is that bad?
It stinks. Rafael Marchand, we already know. Garcia, 3 home runs. I don't know where that puts you, but I guess the one guy would be Trey Turner that you're worried about. He's kind of reverted back to 2 years ago where he's got the big, long swing, trying to hit everything out of the park. Apparently, he needs another standing ovation.
Maybe. And Dave Dombrowski did tell us he expects Rob Thomson to get a standing O when he gets introduced eventually.
As well he should.
I think he should, too. And I haven't always been a big Rob Thomson defender, but the job he's done has been pretty good. I mean, to go to 4 straight postseasons, have a winning percentage of close to .570, this one's on the players. I don't care who the manager was. I don't think if the players were playing this way and your pitching staff was doing what they're doing, mainly the starting rotation has let you down. Your starting rotation went from pitching the most innings in all of baseball last year to only 22nd this year. Number 2 ERA last year to 30th from your starting rotation. Yep. But I'm curious where fans are going to weigh in on this because I want to hear from the Phillies fans out there. Was this the right move? Are you happy? I don't know if happy is the word because people aren't happy that someone loses their job. But are you thinking this is what's going to be needed to hopefully spark this team? So pick up the phone. Want to hear your voices today. 610-632-0975. Remember, though, text and voice memos to the Davis Honda text line. Same phone number. Text line was going crazy earlier in the show, especially during Dombrowski's presser. Let's get a couple texts in here, Silvana. What are the masses saying here?
All right, Rob became an apologist for his players, saying frequently that they are trying too hard and that they care too much. At some point, you have to hold sloppy play and bad decision-making accountable. Some of the issues with the Phillies are attention to detail, and the nonchalant nature of Rob Thomson was getting old.
He's not nonchalant.
But listen, I don't disagree a little bit because I used to get frustrated beyond belief when Thomson would come out when they were struggling and give you the same rhetoric. Oh, yeah, they're trying too hard. Guys are just same thing with the tipping pitches. Whenever guys struggle, Thomson would make excuses public.
It's excuses for public knowledge, not for them.
But maybe sometimes going to the media would have been the right way.
But here's the other problem. Rob was tied. He had his hands tied behind his back. Think about the guys having problems. You just traded from Luzardo last year. Whenever somebody goes into a slump, you look at them and you say, oh, what am I supposed to say? This guy's hitting blah, 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 but he's got a 5-year contract. What is he supposed to say? What is he supposed to bury the contract? Do you see what I'm getting at? There's guys, think about this for a second. You go back to last year, Marsh was 0 for April. You remember this? And what did they do? Phantom IL. They send him down for rehab. He comes back and he plays well.
It worked.
But that I'm sure that Rob had something to do with that. But point being is that there's certain things that your hands are tied that you can and can't say nowadays. And I think that sucks for a manager. But there are some managers who'll bury everybody. They don't care. He just cared about his players too much.
And it comes out now maybe that was his demise because he did care too much and he never held them accountable publicly. But here he is taking the fall now for the largest payroll in franchise history.
But that's what a manager does. A manager's going to take the fall, always. He's the guy that gets punched. No matter what, he's standing in the front, right? He's at the head of the pack. He's the guy that you got to stop. And how do you stop it? You cut it off. Boom, it's over.
All right, well, let's go to the phones because I do want to hear Phillies fans today if they think this was the right decision. Remember, you can get in as well, 610-632-0975. We have a lineup we'll get to shortly, but let's go to the phones. Patrick from Clifton Heights wants to weigh in on this. What's going on, Patrick?
What's happening, guys? I just believe that the players make the manager doesn't make the playoffs. And I'm just, do you think anything's going to change with the firing of Robert Thomson? I don't believe so. He's a player's manager, and I don't know,
Yeah, I mean, listen, Patrick, I don't think that it's a guarantee that anything changes, but I felt like this was necessary to see if anything changes because we keep talking about you can't get rid of all the players at once. You couldn't come in today and Dave Dombrowski be on the phone trading half the roster. It's just not reality. So what could you do? You got to see before things really spiral out of control. You're already 10 games under 500. This season is like close to slipping away. You got to try something.
I think I'm right. I think we got to the point here in the season that if you let this go on, let's face it, they have a weak schedule coming up right now in Major League Baseball terms. If you would have left Rob in there and then he goes, 6-3 in the next 9 games, all of a sudden you have no grounds to fire him anymore. And I think you got to a point right now knowing that if you want to beat the good team, something has to change within the culture of the clubhouse right now. That's what Dave Dombrowski came down to.
Yeah, and he said he felt like it was time for a new voice in there. And listen, the last time Dombrowski did this, it worked. 2022, when they fired Girardi, granted it was 51 games in, now you're only 28 games in. But when you fired Girardi in 2022, that's the farthest this team has ever gotten in the postseason. That was the one World Series appearance. That's Bedlam at the bank. That is the year that everything went well for this team. Maybe it happens again. Does history repeat itself?
It very well could. I mean, they have the firepower. Right? I mean, when you look at this team as a whole, they should have the firepower to do something good. Now, can this pitching staff completely turn it around? Can half of the batting order completely turn it back around? It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see which way everything kind of develops because I will say this much. If it's going to happen, it's going to be these next 9 games because this is where you could lift your stats. If you're going to suck in these next 9 games, I don't see you really turning it up a notch the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're spot on because here's their next 5 opponents. They got the Giants, who are 13-15 on the season. They got the Marlins, who are 13-16.
13-16, lost last night.
Yep. The Athletics are 15-13. The Rockies 13-16. The Red Sox 12-17. This is where you get right.
All these teams stink.
This is where you would hope that they get right, and it should start tonight at Citizens Bank Park. Just keep Ray Dunn out of CBP tonight. He has been bad luck. He was 0 for 3 in South Philly. Come on, Ray.
How about
New manager.
If you see Ray Dunn at the game tonight, you tell him, get out. I want you to go up to him and yell at him to get out of Citizens Bank Park.
Out, Ray.
Come on, Ray Dunn. Now, his man on the street stuff was gold content.
I loved it.
But they were 0 for 3 with him down there, unfortunately.
So I think he should do it again.
Yeah, it was some of my favorite content
I
we put out.
think it was fantastic. You end up with Porter Martone's mom. That did not sound very good. Ended up having Porter Martone's mom on the video.
On the man on the street video.
Whatever, yeah, on the video.
Accidentally. Now, look, because of the Rob Thomson news, we haven't really been able to react to the Flyers losing Game 5 last night, and now they're going to be a Game 6 tomorrow night in South Philadelphia. We will get to that eventually, but there's a lot of people who want to react to Rob Thomson being fired, and we are going to go to Don Mattingly around 4 o'clock. We'll hear from him for the first time as the new interim manager of your Philadelphia Phillies. But coming up next, we have a lineup. We have Don Mattingly's first lineup as manager. We'll bring that to you. And Bryce Harper met with the media a few minutes ago. What did Bryce Harper say about Rob Thomson losing his job? We'll get to that, and we want to hear from you, 610-632-0975. We will continue to react to the biggest news in the city with Rob Thomson being relieved as manager of your Philadelphia Phillies right here on Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Just when you thought you nailed your perfect pan pizza combo, I'm going to throw you a little change up. Papa John's has turned up the heat with new oven-toasted sandwiches. Check out this lineup of hot out-of-the-oven sandwiches. First up, the Chicken Bacon Ranch with all white meat grilled chicken, bacon, melted American cheese, diced tomatoes, and banana peppers. Next, the Steak and Mushroom seasoned steak, loaded with roasted mushrooms, melted cheese, topped with garlic truffle sauce. Or there's a new twist on the Philly cheesesteak. Melted American topped with Pizza Ranch. Yeah, you heard me right. Pizza Ranch on your cheesesteak. It is a game changer. It gets better. Your choice, just $7.99 each. Or $6.99 each when you order 2 or more with Papa Pairings. Bundle with any Pepsi beverage and a bag of chips for just $9.49. That, my friends, is a steal. Swing into your local Papa John's today. Order at papajohns.com or on the Papa John's app. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
All right, welcome back in the Unfiltered, reacting to the big news coming out of the Phillies organization. They have moved on from Rob Thomson. They have named Don Mattingly as interim manager. He will be meeting with the media shortly. We will bring that to you as soon as Don Mattingly gets in front of the microphones. But Bryce Harper, after Dave Dombrowski met with the media a little over 45 minutes ago, Bryce Harper got in front of some microphones, and he was asked about his thoughts with Rob Thomson losing his job. Here's Bryce.
How difficult is a day like this for you guys?
Yeah, obviously, losing Topper, it's tough. When anybody loses their job or goes through a situation like this, it's always tough, man. We love Topper in here. He's a great manager for us over the years. I've had a lot of managers. I've played for a lot of guys over my 15-year career, and Topper is definitely one of the guys at the top. He just steady Eddie in here every day. Was really good for the clubhouse, really good for the team. But obviously, this year hasn't gone as planned, and I think as players, we take that, and we're the ones that kind of make those decisions happen, right? When we don't play well or we don't make things happen, somebody takes the fall, and he took the fall today. But one of the better managers, I definitely ever played for.
All right, so that was Bryce Harper, and look, I think that's a good answer from him. They did love Rob Thomson. Rob Thomson has done a great job, but this is on the players. So now what are you going to do with that, Bryce? What is this team going to do with that you're at fault for one of the best managers that Bryce Harper says he's ever played for losing his job? What do they do with that?
The main reason, Bill, to do this is to what? Is to let the players know they're the ones that are failing. They're the ones that haven't got the job done. And you're taking shots at Bryce. Bryce has done his job. He's actually played very good defense at first base. He's hitting the baseball. He's got 6 home runs, 18 RBIs. I would say Bryce is doing his job.
He has. I give you that.
Bryce is doing his job. It's not, that's almost a double message. It's a message that he understands that it's the players, but that's him also telling his own players that it's us. We're the ones that got him fired. That's what I needed from somebody. That's what I want. That's a true leader. I'm going to give Bryce Harper a lot of credit right here. Came out and said, whether he's saying the right things or just saying them to say them, he said the right things. And I will say this much, to go out there and say that it's because of them as players, that is the right thing to say. You know why? Because it's correct.
Yeah.
It's not only the right thing to say, it is the correct thing, because that is why Topper is not here anymore, is because the players did not perform. Let's face it, if the players perform through 28 games, I'm pissed off now. How many games?
28
games. If the players had performed, would we even be in this mess right now? Would we be sitting here talking about Rob Thomson being fired? The answer is no.
No, we would not be. And now Donnie Baseball takes over, Don Mattingly, and he's got his first lineup. I was expecting him to come out tonight and maybe change things up drastically, put Schwarber back at the leadoff spot, maybe drop Harper down the cleanup. Who knows? Just shake things up. He didn't really do that, though, Ricky. So we got the lineup.
He didn't
tonight.
do anything.
No, Turner leading off.
Yep.
Schwarber batting second. Harper still in the 3 spot. Adolis Garcia hitting cleanup. Brandon Marsh batting 5th, Stott 6th, Bohm 7th, Justin Crawford 8th, and Rafael Marchand 9th behind the plate, and Luzardo on the bump.
Small question for you. You see this lineup?
Yep.
It looks eerily familiar, right? Do you believe Topper already had a lineup done out on the plane on the way back?
Ooh.
And Don Mattingly's just kind of as a salute to Rob Thomson. Here it is, Rob. Lineup you put out there.
It's possible, because Dave Dombrowski, when he met with the media 45 minutes ago, was asked, when did you make this decision? He didn't really answer it, but he said he spoke with Rob Thomson today. Like he does every single
we
morning.
don't know if this was already made. It was, if they were talking every day, who knows what could have happened. But I would assume that on the plane back, that the coaches are sitting together and a bench coach would be around the manager. And they were probably talking about what to do on Tuesday and who they were facing, and they probably had a lineup made.
You know what bothers me a little bit?
Nope.
So I said this when they missed out on Bo Bichette. It bothered me because it was Dave Dombrowski admitting our third baseman's not good enough. We went out and tried to upgrade, and we failed. You move on from Rob Thomson, and you offered the job to Alex Cora, which signals to me you don't feel like Don Mattingly is necessarily the right voice. You just missed out on the guy you really wanted. So, okay, we got to settle now for Donnie Baseball. That bothers me a little bit.
That's exactly what happened. It's not like this thing is disappearing. That's exactly what happened, what you just said. So it's not necessarily it's not a first choice. Is that the point you're trying to make?
And everybody knows it, including the players.
He made it perfectly clear. I mean, nothing's changed. What really has changed? Yes, you change the manager, and it's somebody that maybe in the hearts of the players something changed. But within the clubhouse, do you really feel like something's going to switch up or something's going to be drastically different? Watch this. Hey, Dave Dombrowski just told me something, by the way. You know who's coming in to manage? Larry Boa.
Yeah,
now what would you think?
That would be a bigger change.
You see what I mean?
Than just doing the bench coach. But we are going to hear from the new manager, former bench coach Don Mattingly, coming up right after this. So don't go anywhere. His first time addressing the media as your new manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. Keep it here, unfiltered. 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia.